Hey everybody, it's Kate Richburg. Apologies for that little glitch about not being able to find the stream. I got number one, a text from Janice and a call from my mom almost exactly at the same time. I think when I went to schedule it yesterday on YouTube, on our software, for some reason it didn't save. So apologies for that, my friends. But it looks like you're all here. I'm here. My coffee is here. Alfred is here. Miranda is here. Hello. Everyone is here. Miranda's packing orders as we speak. Alfred's lounging around, dangling his paws, supervising. What a good supervisor he is. It is great to have all of you all here. Let's see. Who is here? Everyone's here. Everyone is here. I love it. We're going to talk about this kit, which I am super in love with. We're going to talk about how handy this type of a technique is for you to work with. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to jump in. I have to show you. Let me see if I can zoom in. Let me see. I think you folks are going to think this is hilarious. Even if you don't, I'm going to show you anyway. Let me see if I can get him. Let's see. There he is. Let me add him to the screen. You can see there's Alfred. Alfie, turn around. There he is. He's dangling his paws as usual. There he is. So there you go. All right, let me put this phone back. It's a cat Friday. He was just posing for all of you all. That's his chair where he supervises. So, you know how that goes. You can't ever please your supervisor. And your supervisor always wants to go on lunch. That's Alfred. All right. Anyway, enough Friday cats. There we go. Oh, it's great to see everybody here. Thank you so much. The It's a Lot of Leather. Will you toss me an It's a Lot of Leather, Miranda? I want to show you folks. We also showed we launched this morning, periodically we do our It's a Lot of Leather bags. As of this airing, we have a few left. Chris made a whole bunch, and in reorganizing the studio and cleaning our studio and getting it ready for the move, I found a bunch of leather that we had sampled, like this one. We don't carry, but it's a lot of leather. There's some braided leather. Some of these have strap leather. So Chris made some really very, what do I want to say? Exclusive or limited edition. It's a Lot of Leather bags. So if you've never tried it, let me tell you what it is. It's a Lot of Leather is kind of our offcuts. So when we send you leather, we don't send you any leather that is knotted, or if you like, say you order like a 5-yard piece or a 10-yard piece or whatever, it'll all come in continuous yards or a continuous piece, right? Unless you tell us otherwise. So the short pieces, if there's a knot, we stop, we cut, and then we start to remeasure. All of that goes in a bin. And then periodically, a few times a year, we put it in bags called It's a Lot of Leather, and we put it up. And nothing is less than a yard. And then it's a lot more usually. And this one has some specialty items in it that we don't usually carry. So let me see if I can make it into the bin. Did I make it? I did. Nice job, me. 3 points, nothing but net. So now's the time to get them is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. So let's see. Kathy, same here. Record temperatures. Fresno's going to hit 106 today. Hopefully this is the last gasp of summer, because you know what? I am done. Done. Miranda, are you done?
I'm so done.
She's so done. Alfie's not saying anything, but Alfie's done too. We're all done. Oh, I love it. Let's see. Who else? Yes, the Naughty Pants is such a big boy now, all 35 pounds of him. Diane, he does not have a stick of the day yet. I actually haven't checked. So I'll have to see if he's brought me a stick today. I love it. Happy birthday to your granddaughter. And Mary, I definitely need to dangle my paws for sure. For sure. Okay, let's see. Just double checking. All right. We are all set. Yeah, again, apologies for that, my friends. For whatever reason the broadcast didn't save. But you're here, I'm here, and I think I've vamped long enough. We've got a whole bunch of you watching now. So let's get to the project, shall we? All right. Here we go. Yeah, again, apologies for that, my friends. I'm not sure what happened. Usually I check it, but we had our, I check it in the evening, but we had Art Hop last night, which was super fun here in Fresno. And then when I got home late, I ate dinner and I didn't even check. So my own fault, but we're all here together. Okay, so here is the Hello Fall kit, and let me talk to you a little bit about this and what the genesis behind this was. I'm trying to center it here. So you may remember when Christine and I were in Tucson at the beginning of the year, in February, we did a lot of fun live sales. That was kind of the beginning of the live sales that we did, which was really fun. And then, and here comes Chris with more packages. Thank you, Lovey. Just go ahead. We're all here. Chris, Miranda, Alfred, the necklace, all of it. Love. So this is, Christine and I were, we were shopping one of the big shows, probably at the Gem Mall. And there was this cool vendor. She was kind of new to the biz. I hadn't really worked with her before. And Christine came up to me and she goes, "Did you see all these beads this woman has?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So she had a lot of just rounds, like 12 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 6 millimeter, 8 millimeter. And so I went to town in her booth. She had really great pricing, great quality. We chatted. I don't know if I'll ever see her again. I have her card, so hopefully I'll get to see her next year. But that's where I found all of these really cool rounds. The quality was great. So I literally designed this necklace on the fly in Tucson, right? So what I did, this pretty much all comes from the same vendor with the exception of just a couple of things. This one here, which I'll talk about, this one which came from my stash, and this one which came from my stash. But everything else was from her. Oh, and these fire polish. But I kept it all in a bag. I put it all together. I knew, I had enough for a certain amount of kits. I put it in a bag, put it all together, promptly put it on a shelf here in my studio to await fall because I just loved these colors. It does have a little bit of Sundance catalog flair for sure, especially with this closure. Janice loves using this closure, and I love using it too with just a little piece of leather. So the way that it shook out, so let me show you. I'm going to kind of lay out the beads and you can see how this all works. So we are going to, so the kit's called Hello Fall. So if you're watching this live, I believe there are still some Hello Fall kits left. If you're watching this later and we are out of kits, this is something that you could easily, my friends, replicate from your stash. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the kit in particular, but again, you could also stash dive and put this together pretty easily. So let's start with the thread. The thread is Irish wax linen, and I did it in the black Irish wax linen, and you get about 2 yards, which is plenty. We're going to knot this, and And I'll show you the knotting is going to be really easy. I don't want you to worry or stress about the knotting. If you don't want to, Janice is like, easily replicate. Well, you can replicate, let me say, the technique, perhaps not the exact colorway that I did, but this technique is a great one to kind of keep in, in your jewelry technique, part of your brain that keeps all of your jewelry techniques and design techniques. So, Irish wax linen, I used the black in the kit. I also gave you about 6 inches of 1.5 millimeter distressed brown leather, and that's what we use for the closure. You also we do carry this button, and it's one of my favorites, and so that's why I used this button. It's our simple hammered button, also very a la Sundance, a la very Chandlu. It's a fun one. We carry it in this round hammered, and then we also carry it, this is the one that's in the kit, but we also carry it like this long oval in gold and in silver as well. Oh, thank you, JP, for checking. We've got 26 of the kits left. So we started out with close to 100. So thank you so much, friends, for jumping in and grabbing those. And they're in our Beadshop Studio. You'll find them there. So that's the mechanics. You're going to need a button, like so. You're going to need some Irish wax linen. You're going to need some leather. Okay. And I made this kit, or this necklace. Let me measure it. You have enough beads to make it. It comes out at about 19.5 inches, 20 inches or so. This is a perfect length for layering. Now, if you want something longer, right, I grabbed these. These are the Cat's Eye Obsidian. We have these in Beadshop Studio right here. The only caveat for this, if you want to add beads, is you need to make sure that your beads have holes that are large enough that are going to fit on this Irish wax linen. Okay. If you like this Irish wax linen, and I love how it strings with this, it doesn't fit everything. I tested all of the beads, so all of these work on the Irish wax linen. You just need to make sure, like these Cat's Eye Obsidian, can you see what a thick thread these are strung on? These will fit really well. Some semi-precious won't. Freshwater pearls, unless they're large drilled, won't. Glass will. Chet glass would look great, and we still have some of our Chet glass, these guys here, the Chet glass drops and stuff. We still have a few of those in the ammonites. Those would look great in there too. So you can always supplement if you want this to be a little bit longer. But let me show you, let me get the extraneous stuff out of here. We'll come back to that later. So here are the beads. Let me dump them out. And you can see what I wanted with these was I wanted a mixture of size, color, and kind of texture, right? So each kit has one of these blue jasper barrels. And so that I kind of made the focal, right? And let me get a little closer. Susan, good question. Irish wax linen holds up with everything, to be honest. I love it. It's a super strong thread. When I make a lot of necklaces that have a lot of African trade beads or kind of have a tribal feel to them, I go to Irish wax linen a lot, right? Because you can also double it too for things that have larger holes. I think it's a good thing to try if you haven't already. And we have it in such terrific colors as well. So let me scoot in a little bit more here. Bear with me here just a second. There we go. That's better. So that is this one. right here. Let me make sure that I'm in frame. Let me take this off. Sorry, let me get rid of that comment. Okay, so here we go. Here's this right here. All right. So then we carry it, Susan, in the 4-ply. Irish wax linen does come in different sizes, but we carry it in the 4. A really good one to learn how to use Irish wax linen, and Irish wax linen is Janice's very favorite, 100%. She uses it in our Odyssey project a lot. It's fantastic. So if you haven't seen it, or well, you've seen it, but if you haven't used it, it's fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so here's that jasper there. And here's a sodalite round. So I put a sodalite there. And then look at these faceted, you get 12 of these faceted, 2, 4, 6. There's 3 over there. These olive jade that are so delicious. I had one back there, and I think I put a couple over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Looks like I've got an extra one. I'll put it right there. Okay, right? So then we have some of this red jasper. This has been dyed, but it is nice and color fast. Sometimes they would call that red serpentine. Sometimes they call this red jade. What it is it's probably a jasper that's been color enhanced. So that goes there. I kind of sprinkled these throughout, right? So can you see how the color blocking kind of really makes your eye kind of walk around this piece? Does that make sense? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. And then I had 4 over here on this side. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Then, isn't this fun? I don't know. I love playing beads for sure. We're definitely playing bead store right now. Let me zoom out just a little bit here. I'm a little tight. You know, I had to call it Hello Fall because, you know, we're all suffering. The heat is just making us nuts. So I'm dreaming about, you know, fall leaves and a pumpkin spice latte, even though I take my coffee black, and Halloween decorations, all of it. So hopefully this will give us a little bit of a fall vibe. Here's another sodalite. This is also 12 millimeter. It goes right there, right? And then I grabbed these. I have never really seen these before. This is a jasper. I'm not, to be completely honest, I called it a 3-color jasper because I have no idea what this is actually officially called. I'll be super honest. A lot of these cool kind of things that they just find these really cool rocks. They find the rough and they make the beads, and then you never see them again, right? So I hadn't seen these. So I just thought that it reminded me of like a Fair Isle sweater, sort of, right? It kind, or a, you know, one of those kind of Lopi sweaters, or yoke sweaters, kind of, you know, very kind of, you know, fall vibes feeling. And I don't know, this kind of looked like stitches or something to me, but I love it. And yeah, I'll put it on, Jamie. They do kind of have that Z bead kind of feeling, Terry, but I don't think they are. But it is some kind of, you know, some kind of jasper that way. So 2 went there, 3 that went there, 1 went over here. That one went there, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this side. I love them. Love, love, love them. And it makes me happy that you love them too. There we go. That goes there. That goes over there. Okay. So Oh, Curtis is teasing us. Miranda, it's going to dip down to the 40s in Minnesota tonight.
That sounds like
It does sound like heaven. Curtis, we'll be right over there to visit you guys.
Get down to 80.
Yeah, it's going to get probably down to 80 tonight. One more last gasp. These are aquamarine. These aquamarine lanterns. Look at these. They are so gorgeous. I bought every single strand that they had, and it was enough for me to put 2 in each kit, right? I love them so much. But other people loved them before me, so there weren't that many left. I just love that shape. So you get 2 of those. This is Carrie, or who asked? Oh, Lisa, the long bead. This is Jasper, that kind of Picasso-y kind of Jasper. It's a smooth barrel. Very, very pretty. I love it. And that's this one here. Then I put in just a few things. Oh, here's the other 12 millimeter carnelian. Also, when I think of Janice, I think of that bead. That is a Janice bead. I needed something for the ends so I could knot. These have larger holes, so that's a 6 millimeter fire polish there, and I repeated it over here. Yes, Lisa, it's called the Hello Fall kit. It's in Beadshop Studio. It launched this morning at 12:01, and as of this show, we had 29 left, I think 25 left, something. So jump over and grab it if you're into it, because it's going to sell out for sure. Here is a check glass piece like this. I love it. You may have seen these. I repurposed them we sold these by the strand. So I used them in here because I felt like we needed a little anchor shape there. And then I also had a few of these coral rondelles left. I had enough to put 1 in each kit. And then 1 of these circles of brass also go in the kit. So that's the layout. So take a screenshot, my friends. So you've got it. So it's all ready to go there. And on the kit page, you can see, and we'll leave that kit page up so you can see the layout of the necklace as well. And yeah, the process all started right here with this center focal right there. And then I just started to add the colors. And when I was doing this in Tucson, when I was pulling these beads, I literally asked the vendor for a big bin, right? A big like bin for the beads. And I just started to lay them out. It's something that my mom and I call auditioning the beads, right? Or auditioning the fabric if we're making a quilt. So I just literally grabbed things. Christine was running over and showing me this, and I'd put it down on the thing, and I'd go, yeah, I like those. I'll keep that. Or she'd bring me something else, and I'd go, yeah, no, that's not quite it. So I had this whole necklace, all the beads laid out across. And then I got bins, and I just started laying them in the bins. So that's how I color paletted it. And so I was hoping that I had chosen enough, because I kind of did it by the seat of my pants, right? And so that's, the proportions of all of these beads kind of directly related to how many strands I'd gotten, right? So it's really okay not to overly plan, right? You can just kind of lay it out. And it's kind of all about proportion. So you can see on this side, let me go here. You can see over here, we've got that color blocking. Then we've got, a large bead, some of those little jaspers, another color block, another color block of the jasper, another kind of interesting little pattern here. Then it goes into that focal, which is not in the center. It's over to the side. More color blocking with that olive jade. And then another little design element with that aquamarine, and then some more color blocking broken up by this 12 millimeter. So my goal was to move your eye from this button all the way around the piece, right? And I'll put it on now so you can see what it looks like. You can see that wherever, let me take this off, wherever this necklace lands, and it's really great for layering as well. Wherever this lands, it'll look great, right? So there's the barrel. The barrel can go kind of over here like this, right? I know, Janice, I like it as a double strand too. You can always order 2 kits. Let me take these big earrings off. But yeah, here it is. So yeah, so there it is. And it's a good length. This comes out to about 19.5. So you could add a few beads or take a few beads away. All right, let me talk to you now that you've seen the layout. And it may be easier if you want to screenshot here. Go ahead and screenshot now for this bead layout. Let me fix this. No, this goes over here, actually. There we go. I'll get my hand out of the way. Ready. Okay, screenshot time. Linda, that's an interesting question. When you talk about your eye walking through, do you find that I ever avoid white beads? You know, our Emily uses white very effectively, right? I love Emily's use of white. And I don't always use white beads, but I think that in this configuration here, the white in this jasper does a lot for it. So I need to really make sure that I use some white. Janice, I do. Should I put this extra one instead of over here? Were you looking at something like that? I don't know. Maybe it's too bookendy for me. Maybe I'll put it here. What do you think? I don't know. Oh, I'm missing one on the right. Let me see. Here, I've got 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I am. I'm missing 6. That's where it went. Never mind. There we go. Thank you, eagle-eyed, everyone. Got it. Perfect. Thank you. So I didn't have an extra. My count was just off. Perfect. Okay. So let me show you the technique. I'm going to pick this up now. Okay. Last call. Let's go ahead. And let me put it in my little dish. Look at that color story right there. I just love it, love it, love it. Let me put it in this pretty little wooden dish because we like things to be pretty. And we'll put this there, and I'll put this one over there as well. So we've got that. So you can see what everything looks like. And there's that button. I just love that button there, right? Love. Thank you for spotting it, my friends. Awesome. So let me show you the technique. I'm going to use this gold button, and I'm going to use Irish wax linen, but I'm going to use it in a sage color. Okay. It does have a bit of a green girl vibe, and I think also it went together so easily for me because I've been hanging out with Cynthia so much. And, you know, Cynthia does a lot of knotting and stuff like that. So yeah, if you have a green girl Do I have a green girl piece sitting here? I don't. But if I did, a green girl charm would look amazing on this, right? I'm kind of looking around to see if Cynthia left me anything sitting here, but it would look terrific with this for sure, 100%. Okay, so here is the Irish wax linen in sage, one of my favorite colors, and here is the cat's eye obsidian. This is 6mm, but it has, I'm using this because it has a large hole. Okay, so let me free these beads up. Let me get my thing right here. So let me clip. And the way that I did this was I started it on the button end. Okay, so let me show you. I gave you 2 yards of thread. So let me cut 2 yards here. 1, and that's plenty. Plenty. There we go. Okay, like this. Then I just started at one end and I laid it out, right? I laid all of my beads out and then I started. I just jumped in. So yeah, I really love this sage. Then what I did was I came through. Did I go through twice? I did. I got my button and I went through once. And see how once looks a little skinny? I'm going to pull a nice length there. I went through twice. Okay. So that makes it a little sturdier. It makes it a little, just a little heavier, right? So now all I do, my friends, is I tie a knot on this side. And since it's Irish wax linen and the thread is really kind of a part of this design, don't worry about where your knot ends up, right? Our goal is to get it next to the button. If it's not exactly next to the button, don't stress, okay? So I'm going to kind of push it up with my fingers and I'm going to hold my fingers there. The great thing about knotting with Irish wax linen is that we just, that it's kind of sticky and stays where you put it, right? So here we go, tighten it up, and then I'll split these 2 threads and tighten. And that, my friends, is all she wrote there, okay? I just tied that knot. Now, what I can also do is I can come in, if I feel like I want it to be a little sturdier, I'll put on my first bead. In this case, it was that fire polish next to the button because I needed something that was small enough. If I had put a larger one next to the button, it would be a little too bulbous and the leather loop wouldn't sit nicely, right? So I'm going to put on this cat's eye. It has to be something that double will go through. This cat's eye does have a nice big hole. And we're going to first stiffen up this wax. That's the other thing, Susan, I like when I'm working with this Irish wax linen is you can kind of draw the wax down to stiffen it to kind of make a little needle on the end. And I'll slide this through like that, catch it on the other end, and slide it up. Okay? Then I will just tie another knot. Now, you could add, so this is going to be an ending knot for one of those strands, okay? Because I'm going to tie it singly from here on out. And see, I just kind of push the knot up and tighten. And then this one I'll just kind of tighten with both of these strands. Now, this is an ending knot. So I could put some GS Hypo cement on this, right, to hold it. But I'll be honest, I didn't on this one. and I've been wearing it. The knot is still nice and tight. The wax really holds it. But your GS Hypo, if you want to be ultra sure, add a little bit of GS Hypo cement on the end right there, and cut off your extra and then continue on your merry way. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in and cut. Where did I put my? Here they are. Gosh, I can't keep my head on straight today. I'm going to clip off this extra Irish wax linen, and I'm just going to keep going. Okay. And yeah, this is, Kathy, I'm so glad. This is going to be a really relaxed, it's meant to be anyway, a really relaxed technique for you. So let me show you here. Okay, let's put on another one. So let's just get another one of these. It goes on very easily. This is that Cat's Eye Obsidian. It's also in Beadshop Studio. There's a little bit of a green cast to this Cat's Eye. It's kind of hard to see. See, it's right there. And I think it goes really well with this sage. Tie your knot. And then you can use your finger to kind of help everything kind of scoot up like that, right? Like so. You don't even need tweezers for this. And if this has a little bit of space in between, that's okay. The Irish wax linen is a really great design addition to this piece, right? We want to see the knots. We want to see the wax linen. Here's another good trick for this, okay, to getting that knot where you want it to be, because this is single. We're doing this with a single thread, okay? Let me put on another bead right here. Watch this. This is going to blow your mind right here. Whoops, sorry. I put it on, then I pulled it off the thread. Hang on. These are, again, these are 6 millimeter. So now, look at this. I'm going to push this bead towards the other beads and tighten the knot. And the knot ends up between these two beads. And that bead helps tighten the knot. Right? So it's right there. Bam. Done. Let's do that again. Tie the knot. Yeah, Leslie, some people don't like the stickiness of the wax. I love, 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 love working with the Irish wax linen just for that reason. It really stays where you put it, right? So here we go. That knot is tied. It's up against this bead. Watch. The knot is in between the two beads. And as I pull on this thread, I push this bead away from me. Bam. And it's knotted. Okay. There's our friend, Anne Gardan. And I have been watching. If you folks don't know our friend Anne, she is a very, very accomplished enamelist, does really amazing enamel components. And my friend, if you follow her, you can find her on social. She's just gearing up to do her fall drop of her really beautiful enameled components. So Anne, feel free to drop a link if you'd like to in the chat and I'll flash it. But you can find Anne on Facebook for sure. And she's making some beautiful things for fall. Love, love, love. So here we go, putting this in. And we just slide this up like this. That's it. Right? It's just how it is. Pretty easy. I know. I'm glad you folks love this technique. Let me get a few more on here. I'm going to go a little bit more at Kate speed. So bear with me here for just a second because I want to show you Oh, and Anne says she's at the torch right now. That's awesome. Yay. Great. Beautiful, beautiful things, my friend. Perfect for fall. Your fall pieces, and would look great for these as well. We need to do something together. We really do. I have a few of Anne's really nice enameled pieces. And I think torch enameling is going to be something that we're going to do at the retreat next year. It was a request from some of you when we were talking about what we were going to do for the retreat next year and torch enameling. Oh, great. Perfect. Thank you, Anne, for putting that link up there. You'll find it. The link is right in the Facebook chat there. So here we go. Let me do this at Kate's Bead real quick. Janice has her very famous pearl knotting handout. It's up on our website. I'm telling you, we could teach pearl knotting every week. Janice pearl knots a little bit differently than I do with no tool technique. We've done this a million times. I'm going to go very fast here so I can get this done. See how this knot didn't quite land where I wanted it, but I'm not going to worry. The pearl knotting instructions are under archived projects, under pearl knotting, though, you know, we actually need to put that on our homepage, I think, JP, right? Because you have been teaching pearl knotting, Janice, for, I don't know, 40 years at least. And it's a really great intuitive handout. And I know some of you who were at the retreat even printed it out and brought it with you. So just another thing to add to my notes. Put all of the pearl knotting, though I believe we have a pearl knotting playlist on our YouTube. So, and this technique definitely with Ceylon, definitely with silk. It all works with all threads. Hemp, I use this technique with leather. It all will work. Okay, here's the tin cup handout. Janice put that up. And then Janice, it's under archived projects, I think, pearl knotting. So let's see, bracelet wise. I'm getting close. So I need about 5 more beads. Let's see what 5 looks like. Because remember, my friends, that, and let me get a little closer here so you can see it. The knots, remember when you pearl knot something, when you knot something, it does add length. Okay, so it's like putting a little seed bead in between. So do remember that knots do add length. Great job, JP. We need to put it on the homepage. Yeah, these cat eye obsidian, I agree, Lisa. They are simply gorge for sure. And we love thread here at Beadshop, right? We love thread so much that we try and have a really great color selection. And that's all due to Janice, 100%, all due to Janice. I hadn't really, I had used some nylon threads, but I hadn't in so long. And when I came back to Beadshop, Ceylon just sent me, just captured me. So it is such a great thread to work with. We used to have a nylon thread called bonded nylon thread that we used way back in the day. But Ceylon, with all of its colors and all of its sizes, is really terrific. So here it is. Okay, so we've got these here, and I'm going to knot these. We had a really fun time at the retreat doing some pearl knotting. It was really fun. We explored a lot of different ways to to land those knots. There it is. Oh, Robin, thank you. You did get some and you like them. I'm so glad. They are beautiful in person. The camera does not really do it justice. I think I need 2 more. So let me show you how to finish this. Okay. So here's one more knot. And I'm going to do this like I did. Whoops, sorry. Yeah, I use my thumb to hold the knot. Janice does her no tool method a little bit differently, but you know, it's, there we go. Bam, done right there. Okay. So let me get my last 2 beads. I've got 1. And this is real important because you need that last bead to be large enough, the hole large enough so that your thread can go around the little leather loop and back down through this bead. Okay. You can definitely use tweezers too, whatever knotting kind of floats your boat. Okay. So let me make my little closure here. I'm going to make mine a different color. This is 1.5 millimeter here. I think I sent you 6 inches of thread. I'll use this. Pardon me. I'm going to go ahead and make this little leather closure. We want this loop to be large enough to get over the button, but not so large that it's going to fall off. So what I do here is I just bring my leather together. I tie an overhand knot in there. And before I tighten everything up, I check to see the size of the loop. So I put the loop kind of over my button. And then I start to tighten the loop down. Okay, and that looks like it's about the right size. Okay. Then I come in, and you have a long tail here because it's easier to tie that knot here, which is why I've given you such a long piece. If you were trying to tie it with a little tiny piece of leather, it would be more difficult. So now what you can do is I'm just going to cut this away. I'm going to cut it at an angle, making one a little shorter than the other, just for some flair. Okay, like that. Now I'm going to mock this up and check the length before I do any closing knots. Let me see. It feels like this isn't as focused as I want it to be. Susan, you could use anything for the loop if you don't use leather. We also carry our surfer cord in cotton. It's kind of like a woven cotton cord that works out really well. You could also do this as like a separate little beaded section, right? You could string this on like soft flex, crimp it, cover with a crimp cover. So this could be like a tiny little necklace of some sort. So, you know, it really could be anything your imagination. But the Chinese knotting cord, CKC, that's this as well. It's not quite as stiff, but it would work in the 0.8 millimeter. Another good question that Kathy has, are there any tricks for undoing a sloppy knot? Let me show you that, because there actually kind of is a trick. With Irish wax linen, it's a little difficult because the Irish wax linen is sticky. But let me show you this real quick, and then we'll finish this up. So here's a length of Chinese knotting cord right here. Okay. Now, when you tie your knot I'm going to tie my knot here, and I'm going to tighten it up. So you can kind of see how the knot, when it's knotted, there's the strand that comes this way and the strand that comes this way, right? Those are the two little hills, the little bumps in the knot that you need to focus on when you're unknotting, okay? So let me tighten this knot up, okay? Can you see? You can't because it needs to be focused. Can you see how there are those two little knot bumps, right? Right there. Now, what I do is I wiggle that knot, and you may need to wiggle with like your tweezers or something like that, but I call this the wiggle and wait, right? So, wiggle and wait a little bit. Let me get this. The wiggling is throwing my camera out of focus. Then once I see a little bit of looseness happening with this knot, I'll grab one knot bump and I'll come over here with the other knot bump and I'll pull it apart as best as I can. And as soon as I see daylight through that knot, that's when I will insert my awl in there. And that will help me pull this knot open, right? Like that. So it's different when you're working with thread that's a lot smaller, right? If you were doing like, you know, pearl knotting thread or even thread like this, the Irish wax linen, but the technique is the same. Okay. So it's the wiggle and wait, wiggle and wait. Okay. So give that a try and practice. Tie some knots in whatever you think you might have to untie. And practice, 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 practice. Okay, back to this closure. Let's mock this up and see if it's going to fit. Because if it's a bracelet, it really needs to fit, right? You can't get away with a little bit longer like you could if it were a necklace. Okay, so here's this. See, I'm going back through this bead with the large hole. I'm sliding it down. And we're going to have knots here. So I'm going to make it a little loose. And I'm going to see if this fits. Oh, see? It doesn't quite. I'm glad I checked. So take all of this out. I think I need like 2 more beads, right? So let me do that. Oops. Earrings are falling. Everything's falling. Hang on. Let me take this out. Let me take this out. Oh, let me hide that comment. Sorry about that. Okay. So I think I need, let's see. So there's a knot there. Again, this is 2 yards of thread. It's given you plenty for a necklace. For a bracelet, I'd probably only use about 1 yard. You don't need, the knots don't take up that much. So then you won't be scooting this much thread through. See, if it looks like it's not going to quite hit where you want it, you just kind of, I would undo it. I would loosen it up. Then kind of push that knot up just a little bit and then get it in there with my bead. See that? There we go. What did I say? 2 more, maybe? I bet it's going to be 3. I don't know. Regardless, it's going to be what it's going to be. All right. Oh, thanks, you guys. I'm glad you're enjoying this. Yay, good. It means I'm doing my job. All right. Let's tighten that up. Let me just slide this through. I won't really slide it through the hole. I'll just check it again, right? Measure twice, cut once, right? Isn't that what they say? Yeah, this is still just a hair tight for me. I am going to add that one more bead. Okay, so I'm going to go through, I'm going to tie this bead off here. Then I think you're really going to like this trick a lot. This is why the Irish wax linen is so good. All right, here we go. Here's this one. This goes on. This comes through. This goes back. And that's just how I did this side. And can you see I used the olive jade for this side? Okay. And for the button side, I used the 6mm fire polish. That's for the necklace. But these are 6mm here, so they fit really nicely. Look how nice this bracelet. This looks just as a bracelet. Going through, I go back through this cat eye obsidian and I slide everything down. Now I know you're wondering, look, Richburg, how are you going to get that knot? How do we get a knot there? Let me show you. We're going to make this a little loose, not super loose, but so it has a little bit of movement there. Okay. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut away this tail. Let me see if I can get in a little bit tighter. You know, bear with me here just a second. Let me put this leather on the back. I think it will focus a little bit better for you to see. Bear with me here, because you have to see this up close. There we go. That's pretty clear, right? So I'm going to leave a tail, I don't know, maybe 4 inches about. And I'm going to cut away. And then I'll save the rest of this Irish wax linen to use in another project. So now remember we said that this was 4-ply Irish wax linen. So that means that I can unply or unfurl the linen. So see, I twist it back on itself. And I get 2 plies here and 2 plies here. And I untwist. That's the beauty of Irish wax linen, one of the beauties. Okay, it's about a 4-inch piece that I did here. Now remember, my thread came, there's no knot between the last 2 beads here. Okay, go up around the little piece of leather, back through this last bead, and the knot is going to land between the second to the last and the last bead. And splitting this Irish wax linen allows me to do that. Okay, so I'm going to come in, I'm going to tie a full square knot, right over left, left over right, and down. Now I'm going to flip it over. This is exactly, Erica, exactly right. I do the exact same thing with Griffin silk. I unply it, split it, and tie the knots. Exactly. Same technique, different material. So now I've turned it over. Now I'm going to go left over right. This is where I might add a little bit of GS Hypo. I'm not going to do it now because getting that glue tip on and off will be more than I can deal with right now. But I'll add, before I tighten this loop, I'll do a drop of GS right there. Then I'll tighten it over the top. One more drop of GS Hypo right here. Tie it again. one last drop of GS Hypo on top of that knot, let it sit. Okay. Then you'll come in, though I'll be honest, I think this will hold with the Irish wax linen without the glue. I really want to tighten it tight though. There we go. And I'm going to knot it there, or cut it there, cut it there. And there is your closure. Okay. Exactly the same as this necklace. And I'll zoom out so we can see everything. I'll make everything pretty so you can take a screenshot. Okay, like this. You get this out of the way. I like this kind of leather on the, and I would use GS Hypo for sure. If I was gluing this, and I would, to be honest, I wouldn't be so cavalier. Let me get this like this. This closure works for so many things. It'll work great for a bracelet. This bracelet was super fast. So if you do holiday markets, it really is a nice one for holiday markets. I want it to look pretty here when you take a screenshot. So this is ready for a screenshot. Linda, that's an excellent question. Do you have a suggested length for bracelets you intend to sell? You know, I would say that, let me move this over here. I look a little haggard all of a sudden. There we go. Let me get my hair out of my eyes. My other earring fell on the floor, so I'll just put one earring in. There we go. With bracelets, what I find for bracelets when you're selling, bracelets are made to like fit half the population, right? And people that have larger size wrists, it really is great to have bracelets of different lengths. So for me, let me measure this bracelet because my wrist is a little bit bigger. But it's also nice to have some that are a little bit smaller as well. And if you kind of note that on the tag or have a little sign and say, you know, we've got bracelets to fit all wrist sizes. So this shakes out at my usual bracelet length, which is 7.5. Okay. Janice wears, and Janice, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you wear about a 7-inch. Dria's bracelets are a little bit smaller. Dria has kind of a wee wrist. My mom has a small wrist. So it really just depends. Emily wears one that's a little bit bigger. She likes hers to come in at about 7 3/4. So I would do a range, right? Oh, and thank you, Janice, the bracelet bead board. Thanks for putting that up. I always forget about the bracelet bead board. I hope I find mine when we clean the studio, because it's a board that has the round circles where you can lay everything out. It's a really great tool. I know mine's around here somewhere, so I'll find it. But this fits that I made the 7.5, and my wrist measures 6.5 inches. Janice is a 6 3/4. Okay, so you can see everybody's weighing in. Everybody has a different wrist size. So I think if you make bracelets in a range between, and then, you know, stick to kind of that size range. Maybe you want to make some in 7, you want to make some in 7.5, you want to make some in 7 3/4, maybe, right? But this 7.5 inch fits nicely. Plus, I like to stack my bracelets as well. So usually I'll wear my watch and I'll stack a bracelet with it or two. So having a larger, a little bit of a larger bracelet is a little bit better if you're doing a wrist stack. I hope that helps with the answer there. Okay. So my friends, wow. Thank you so much for joining me today It was a really fun. This looks ridiculous with just one of these in. I'll take this out. I'll put the necklace on. Alfred, stop clawing that chair. Now Alfred's clawing the chair. I don't know who he thinks he is. So that's that. You'll find this piece called Hello Fall. They're selling out quickly, so grab one if you're watching me live. They're over in the Beadshop Studio. Next week, I've got some more Beadshop Studio drops coming. Yesterday, Miranda paired these amazing turquoise pieces that you're going to love. Those of you who are at the bead retreat know that know these beads because you almost bought me out, but there's some for the Beadshop Studio. You're going to love them. They're super, super fun.
Will you grab one?
Oh, yeah. Do you grab a bag? Will you grab one of the bags? Miranda's going to grab one of the bags. Yes. Look at these. Look at how good these are. They're big. They're old. They're vintage. They're going to be up next week. I want to keep them all for my very own self. There's going to be these, and there's going to be some silver. That's shaken. So that's it. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. I'm so glad you loved this. We super, super appreciate all of you being out there so that all of us here can stay gainfully employed. Appreciate. Thanks, folks. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Talk to you soon, everybody. Bye-bye.